I was the only father at my son's Mother's Day tea. His teacher asked if I wanted to be listed as a special guest. I said no. Here's what I said instead. When my son was born, my wife Diane held him for 40 minutes before she let anyone else in the room, and I stood by the window watching the two of them and made a quiet promise to myself that I would never let that boy feel like his family was less than whole. Diane died 14 months later. Brain aneurysm. Tuesday morning, she was making oatmeal. My name is Patrick. I'm 31. My son's name is Leo. He is 4 years old, and he has his mother's exact eyes and her habit of tilting his head slightly when he's thinking hard about something, and every single time he does it, I have to take a breath. I want to be clear about something before the story goes further. I am not telling this for sympathy. I don't need you to feel sorry for me or for Leo. What we have built in the last 2.5 years is small and imperfect and held together sometimes with sheer stubbornness, but it is ours and it is real and it is full of more love than I sometimes know what to do with. But I want to tell you about the Mother's Day tea. Leo's preschool sends home a paper flyer in the Tuesday folder every week. Most of them I read and recycle. One morning in late April, I unfolded a yellow flyer with a teacup illustration at the top that announced the annual Mother's Day tea. The following Friday, 9 a.m., parents welcome. Children would be performing 2 songs and presenting handmade cards. I put it on the refrigerator. I didn't think about it as an event I might not belong in. I thought about it as an event where my son would sing songs and hand someone a card he made with his own hands, and the person he made it for was gone, so the person who would receive it was me. I put on a decent shirt. I showed up at 8:55. The room was decorated with paper flowers and small tables with real tea and tiny sandwiches cut into triangles. Mothers were filing in, maybe 16, 18 of them, and then me. I found Leo's class table and sat down in one of the small chairs that was built for a 4-year-old, and I will be honest with you, sitting in a child's chair at a table covered in pink streamers is a humbling experience regardless of the circumstances. Leo saw me from across the room, and his entire face became one single emotion. He ran to me and grabbed my arm and pulled me toward his friend Amir and said, "That's my dad," with a volume and a confidence that made 2 nearby mothers smile. I was doing fine. I was completely fine. Then his teacher, Ms. Fontaine, came over quietly while the kids were being lined up for the songs. She crouched slightly so we were at eye level, and she said very kindly, very carefully, "We have a printed program for the morning, and I wanted to ask if you'd like to be listed as a special guest, since the event is for mothers." She meant it gently. I could see that clearly. She was trying to give me an out, a category, a place to stand in the architecture of the morning. I thought about it for exactly 3 seconds. I told her thank you, genuinely, but I'd like to be listed the same way everyone else is listed. I said Leo made me a card and I'm here to receive it. I said I'm his parent, and that's the right word. She nodded. Her eyes went a little bright. She said of course and walked back to the children. The program listed me as Leo's dad. That's all. Same format as every other entry. Leo sang both songs with the particular off-tempo confidence of a 4-year-old who has practiced enough to feel certain and not enough to be precise. He found my face in the second song and held eye contact the entire time like he was performing it directly to me and no one else in the room. He handed me the card afterward. Construction paper, folded once, crayon drawing of 2 figures, one tall, one small, standing next to something orange that I believe was meant to be our couch. Inside, in Ms. Fontaine's handwriting because Leo had dictated it, were the words, "My dad shows up for everything." I kept my composure through the tea. I kept it through the tiny sandwiches and the photos and the goodbye hugs at the door. I kept it all the way to the car. Then I sat in the parking lot of a preschool for a few minutes and let the promise I made by a hospital window 2.5 years ago settle over me like something solid. I showed up. Diane, I showed up.